there's not a whole team, there's not 20 people, you just have one guy. You're the audio guy for the game, that's it. You're the sound designer, maybe you're the composer as well. You also have to do some scripting. How do you learn it all?
You can't. It's a value proposition, I think, at the end of the day. And what I mean by that is that if you're in a position to do that, especially early on, if you're making a small game with friends you met here, or it's your first gig out of school, you have to recognize that you're in a really good position and try not to do everything. And if you look at a lot of games, indie games that have been really successful, I don't know, did anybody play Inside last year?
My favorite game last year.
Okay, if you didn't and you're studying games, you better, because it's amazing, and especially the audio. But you know, one guy with a little help from a couple other people did the entire soundscape of that game, and he's brilliant because he focuses on the things that'll matter, right? So I'm not sure about sort of learning it all, but what I think the answer is play to your strengths, right? So if you're a brilliant composer, then use your music chops to sound design the game. And don't try to do too much. Like, figure out, and this is what I mean by the value proposition, is like, figure out what matters. Maybe the game doesn't need dialogue. You know, maybe they've planned all this dialogue and you're like, hey, you know, game designer guy, partner on this game, you're a really good animator. Why don't we use gestures and physical movement and ditch the dialogue, and I'll just focus on some musical sound design and we'll call it a day, right? And then so put your eggs in the basket that you know is going to be best for you. And I think through that, yeah, I mean, because the first project I did at Sony was just me and an intern, and it was a AAA sized game. It was a game called Siphon Filter Dark Mirror, and the things I'd do differently if we went back to do it is kind of incorporate this advice I'm giving now into focusing more on things that will sound polished to the player. Like, if you can be objective and look at the game and say, you know, what equals polish on this, and not doing what we did, which was stay up till 5 a.m. every night, sleep for like a couple hours, and then get back to work and do everything, right? And we were trying to, and we weren't even doing the sound design. This was just music, but the implementation and all the there was a lot of tech stuff that we had to deal with, and I was sitting there like composing at a desk, and my partner Ernest, who was our intern at the time and still works with us, is genius implementer, was implementing the last cue I had printed, like at a terminal next to me, and and then saying, oh, I need this, so I'd have to go back and reopen the queue and print something differently. And we tried to do too much, and the game came out fine, but we practically killed ourselves. And I think if we had zoomed out a little bit and just spent a little more time on the things that really mattered to the player, that we would have probably saved ourselves some heartburn.